At the time, Connie was going to do a women's discipleship in Spring, California, and Pastor Campbell was going to do a men's discipleship in the San Diego church. Before Connie ever became my pastor's wife, she was my friend. We had deep conversations, and we were honest and bold with one another. That was Connie, and that was me. Once Connie and Sister Mitchell flew to Singapore while their husbands went on to India. Before she left, she called and asked, "What can I bring for you?" And I told her 2 twin-sized comforters. Mark picked them up from the airport soon after midnight and brought them home. I was so thrilled to see them. Connie immediately suggested to wake up the girls so they can open up their gifts. I told Connie, "It's after midnight. Lindsay has school in the morning." But of course, Connie smiled and says, "Well, why not? It will feel like Christmas." When she said that, I knew what she was saying. And so I did. We woke up the girls at 1 in the morning, and it really did feel like Christmas in our house. That was Connie. She was spontaneous, generous, and full of the joyful spirit. An event was in San Diego. That was the start of many trips to San Diego. We visited Ocean Beach, saw where Pastor and Connie had lived. We drove down Broadway while she told stories of cruising with her friends and flirting with the sailors. That's what she said. Those aren't my words. She said she flirted with the sailors. At one point, we reached the foot of Broadway and Pacific Highway. Connie coaxed all of us, Barb, Kathy Monins, Julie Loffer, and myself, to get out of the car and do a fire drill around the car. I put it in park, and we all ran as fast as we could around the car, jumped in, and I remember going around the car, and there was only one car, and that was behind us. And it was an older gentleman, and he was just like, "What is going on?" And so we hopped in, took off, and we drove to Anthony's Fish Grotto. That was one of Connie and Pastor's favorite restaurants. And we went there, and we had so much fun. We were laughing and just having a blast. And finally, the waitress came over, probably about after an hour, and she says, "Can you guys tone it down? The other diners are having a hard time, with being with each other." And the waitress says, "They think you're drunk." And the waitresses, all they had was just water, Sprite, and iced tea, so they're fine. But that was the joyful spirit and the laughter that came from Connie. She loved to laugh, and she made everybody else around her laugh. Another story was me and Barb went to Granny's house, and it was a winter time. It was beautiful. It had just snowed. Everything was fresh and white and gorgeous, and it was the first time I ever saw a red cardinal. And the red cardinal up against the white snow looked like a Christmas picture. It was just gorgeous. And I was looking around, and I noticed the pond, the man-made pond outside, and I said, "Connie, it's frozen." She goes, "Yeah." And I go, "I wonder if you can ice skate on it." And she goes, "I don't know, but you can walk on it." When she says stuff like that, then you're wondering, is she joking or? And so she coaxed, once again, me and Barb to go out on it, and we kind of shimmied on there, and we took little bits and pieces of steps together, and I finally kind of pulled away from Barb because I thought, well, both of our weight together, we're going to surely crash through. And so I probably got out about 10 or 15 feet, and I turned around, and she's smiling and waving us from the shoreline. And so all of a sudden I started hearing the cracking. And I thought, okay, I got to go back. And so I made my way back to the shoreline, and we all laughed about it. And it's Connie's way of trying to get you to do something you really don't want to do, and to laugh about it. Those are just, a snippet, a small little bucket full of just stories that I had with Connie. She had traits that made Connie who she was. She was a listener. She was kind to everyone, even to strangers. She always had a shoulder to cry on, and she would often remind me, be kind to everybody because you don't know what they're going through. Connie was full of faith, full of the Word of God, and full of grace. Her walk with God was genuine and steady. God had big plans for Connie, and she was obedient to the very end. Connie was a giver in every sense of the word. She loved people, and she loved to laugh. We will miss her greatly.